All right, so here's the quick little overview on the guidelines for behavior and just some of the systems for behavior in this class. First of all, I expect you to follow all school rules. So those are in the student handbook if you're ever curious, but I'm not even really going to say those are classroom rules because they're school rules. So in here, I really just have some guidelines. The first one is to impress me. In general, that's a good rule to live by. If you can impress me and keep me having a positive attitude about who you are as a student and your work ethic, then things are going to go really, really well for you. Me personally, I value hard work. So as long as you can show me that you're willing to put forth effort, doesn't mean you have to be great at what you're doing, but just put forth effort, then that's going to go a long way with me. Class. So we talked about this today. If I say class, as a class, you're expected to respond yes, and then wait quietly for my next statement or instruction. So there shouldn't be chatter after class. Positive, those can be, rewarded positively or negatively. So make sure that you're not being kind of a loose link or a weak link in that. Doing your best work always. It's important for me that you always put forth your best effort, just like I said. Hard work is something that I admire. It's probably one of the top qualities that I admire in a person, not just students, but just in people in general. And then display a positive attitude. That doesn't mean you're going to do great at what you're doing, but if you give up instantly, or if you just come in here with a negative attitude, that's going to kind of leave a sour taste in my mouth, and that's not going to work very well for you as a class. In fact, you're going to be punished for that as a class, so make sure that you're not coming in here with a negative attitude. Your attitude really dictates how well you do at certain things and how well things go for you. So just because circumstances might suck doesn't mean that you have to have that negative attitude. The more positive you can remain, the more positive you're going to be able to deal with situations that come, and that's just in life in general. So failure to break rules, just school rules in general, or to follow instruction that's given in class will result in one of the things that you see here. This is posted in our classroom, but first I'll give you a verbal warning. That's the very first time. So if like every day you're coming in here with your phone out and I tell you to put your phone away, that's one time that I need to tell you to put your phone away. If I have to say it again, we're going to move to the next thing, which is a classroom conference or consequence. So the asterisk here says that classroom consequences will be documented in Skyward. So know that if I have to even say something to you past just a warning, it's going to go in Skyward. That could be detention, isolated lunch. It could be me sending you to the office. That is just kind of dependent. And then office referral is a little bit more stringent. Sometimes you can skip this classroom consequence or even the verbal warning and go straight to the office depending on what it is. So just know that that's kind of the flow of things. And then lastly is this checkboard, and this is probably the one that you're going to see most often here. Obviously, check marks are positive things. So if everybody's watching their video, you all are going to get a check. If everybody's taking their notes every night, you're going to get a check. If you're impressing me by how you're working as a class, staying on task, working well, not having to be reminded about anything, you're going to get a check. If you have a good class, you'll get a check. If everybody's having a positive attitude and just working well at what they're doing, you're going to get a check for all of those things. You can also impress me just by remembering vocab or things that we're doing in here. There's a lot of ways that you can impress me. Failure to do any of those things will result in an X. So if not everybody watches a video, you'll get X's for that. If not everybody is on task and I'm having to remind people to stay on task, the whole class is going to get an X for those things. If you can stay in the positive, so this is how this works, this board clears every week. If you can stay in the positive, everything that in the positive will result in some bonus on your test. Now that might be extra credit. It might be extra credit opportunities or ways that you can like skip questions on your test and they won't count against you. It might be an opportunity to use notes on a test. It might be an opportunity to do a partner test. There's a lot of different things that could be. Just know that you will be rewarded. If you're in the negative, you won't get rewarded. So that's just not going to benefit you. Sometimes that can be the difference. Like last semester, that was the difference in like 20 points on a test score. So like one class had extra checks and they got 80s and the other class didn't and their average test score was in the 60s. So just realize that has an impact. And then the last little thing up here, you'll see a student of the week, and we'll talk about that more specifically once the first week happens, the first kind of full week. But student of the week is really just a way for me to reward those of you that are doing good things. And it doesn't mean you're necessarily the top student, that you're the best at algebra. You might just be the like somebody that does your stuff all the time and always has a positive attitude, and you can get student of the week for that. And there's some cool little things that go along with that. So that's just a general overview for classroom expectations and behavior.